Well, first of all, well done to all active objectors and signatories whose long-term persistence paid off with a refusal for planning permission for the fracking. Take a breath, there will be a part 2, by the way. But anyway, first one to us. Right, welcome everybody. If you've got a mobile phone, if you'd like to put it on silent, please. Thank you very much. Right, a massive welcome to Rob B of the Dignity Alliance, who asks, who is your council? Our councils are seemingly morphing into other entities via a rebranding process. Is this necessary? Why is this? What is the cost, and of course who benefits? These questions and more have been posted by Rob, who has done extensive research into Wigan Council towards some of these entities with interesting results. These council entities have taken it upon themselves to issue summonses with a view to finding people and in some cases repossessing their homes, apparently with a blessing of the judiciary. Is this right? The same person who altered Borough Council has done the same with Wigan, prompting freedom of information requests from concerned Wiganers and especially Rob. Please welcome Rob B.
How you doing, guys? First of all, thank you very much. I'm humbled that so many people here taking an interest, because there are more people out there not taking an interest in this stuff, and this is really important. The idea tonight is the purpose of this evening, if you like, is at the end of this talk. I'll try to make it as interesting as I can, because these guys deliberately try and make it boring. I'll try and make it as interesting as I can. And when we talk about conspiracy theories, I'm not an actual conspiracy theorist. However, this is the actual definition of conspiracy. There's something big happening behind the scenes, and they're desperate for us not to find out about it. At the end of today, you will know enough where you can start digging into your own, let's call them, councils. And hopefully you guys will get the same results. This is what the Dignity Alliance and myself stand for. I'm a single issue campaigner. It's about put an ending to slavery, slave trading, human trafficking and all forms of involuntary servitude. And we are all in this room in a form of involuntary servitude, as I will prove. But I hope to bring you a similar type of truth, because what you guys, maybe not the people in this room, but certainly people out there, believe is fact, is in fact not fact, is alternative realities. Now, if you want to just go to the next clip, that's it, yeah. So, just a quick, I don't read The Guardian as such, I tend to keep away from newspapers and the TV, but this sort of highlights the severity of what council tax is. When I get people saying, but council tax, if you don't pay it, who's going to fix the roads, the old people, the children, blah, 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 puppy dogs and starving polar bears and the rest of the nonsense, right? Up to 40% of council tax levied in low-income households is unpaid. Right, this is from August last year. 40% of council tax levied in low-income households is unpaid. I can go into, I won't read the whole article, but there's one section of it. Sharon Taylor, the chair of the Local Government Association's finance panel, I'm sure she's in a lovely salary, our expense, yeah, said councils would need to, but she will no problem paying council tax. Councils would need to find £1 billion by 2016 to protect discounts for those in low incomes. At a time when local government is already tackling £20 billion worth of cuts, this is a stretch too far. Many councils have been put in an impossible position. No one wants to ask those in the lowest incomes to pay more, but they do. But pressure on funding for local services means many councils have had little choice but to reduce the discount. And what I'm hearing there is a highly paid gobshite saying blah, 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 we don't care, give us your money. That's what that says to me. Okay, so yeah, I couldn't sleep at night if I was her. I've known 6 people now who've committed suicide through debt. Personally known 6 people who've committed suicide through debt. And I don't want to bring the tone down, you know, but I just want to emphasise the severity of what we're talking about. These people who are doing all this nonsense, yeah, think they're doing their job. And unfortunately, as they're finding out, bullying is not part of the job. And what they do is they play a game where it's called distancing yourself from the actual consequences of your actions, and there's a doctrine involved in that, 6 points of 6 points of distance. And once you get to 6 points away from the actual person committing suicide, whatever the war, or whatever's happening, you think you're not liable for it, and that's every taxpayer, by the way. So these guys believe I'm just doing my job. You know, it's not me, I'm just doing my job. Yeah, I know he killed himself, I'm just doing my job. Yeah, I know that family are crying, but I'm just doing my job. It's not doing your job. Their job, I believe, was to work for us. Yeah. Anyway, right. So we'll go into the presentation proper now. Now, at the moment, I'm at Wigan. I use that word "at" advisedly, because "in" means in the jurisdiction, "at" means you're not in the jurisdiction. I'm at the jurisdiction of Wigan Borough, not the borough at Wigan, or the borough in Wigan, or the borough of Wigan. It's Wigan Borough. These guys will start playing mind games with you using legalese. They'll say it's the borough of Wigan. No, it's Wigan Borough. I'll explain why in a minute. Now, what's that? 4 years now, 4 or 5 years now, I've been not challenging council tax. That's not even got that far yet with them. Just asking a simple question: who are you? And some people might have heard me doing a previous presentation. Who are we? Who am I? Yeah. This is the next one. Ask him, who are you? And all that time I've been writing letter after letter. When I used to write letters and care what they said, letter after letter, they've point blank refused to identify who they are, where the authority comes from, and what their capacity is. Simple questions. If that was a double glazing firm, you would not want to get anywhere near them. You'd run a million miles from them. If they were giving you different bank accounts and different names and using 3 or 4 different company names, you wouldn't go anywhere near any business. But most people just accept it's the council. It's the council. The council, the word council, and this all comes down to words, is a grey word. We're having council now. Yeah, it's the word court. We're having a court now. These are grey words, right? So don't be intimidated by these words. And these guys are, I was going to say, very good at avoiding using the word. They're not. These guys are nasty. They're evil. They're vindictive. They are no sense of no moral standards. They've no sense of internal guidance. A lot of these people, I think they've got mental problems. I really do think they've got mental problems. And they think they can justify what they're doing the same as, you know, we've heard in history where people used to go out there and kill other people because it was just obeying orders. This is this defence they're using. I don't think there's any excuse whatsoever for causing misery, having an industry of misery. And you saw it in the previous article, 40% of, let's call them poor people, yeah? Which, I'm a poor person, you know. 40% of poor people can't afford to pay their bills. You think that's the point where the supposed guardians think we've messed up here, we need to change things, you know, because we're hurting people. No, it's an industry of misery because there's money involved in private companies and private equity firms and all sorts of scams. And there's also, you'll find as well, it's not one organised, I'd say a miscalculation a lot of people make is you think that these councils are very organised, they're one finely tuned machine. Well, anyone that's worked for a council or had contact with the council realises it's not, it's gangs, it's infighting, they hate each other, the partners don't talk to each other. But what they'll do is they'll just come for us because we're an easier target. And the poor are the easiest targets as well. So this is, I've called it Tune What Diffuke, I'll mispronounce that deliberately, is Wigan Council. Because there's a video on YouTube and it's I think it was called Who Diffuke is Australia, the Parliament Australia or something it's called. And there's a guy proved with, because he was importing a car from America, and he proved there was 2 tax offices, 2 revenue and customs, 2 border controls, 2 governments, 2 commonwealths. It's a very good article, a very good presentation he did on YouTube, and that's him going for the national government. The power now in this country is not at national level, right? I can tell you that now. The power now is at local level. Agenda 21 has already kicked in. European Union is dismantling Britain. It's already done it. It's already done it. There is no Britain anymore. Do you know Britain in British has no legal meaning? That's fact. Ask yourself. We're now part of this UK corporation. And the idea is they've already done it. England's broken down into 9 city regions. And there's a phrase to look up, all the guys that are campaigners. City regions. Scotland already is a city region with 1 single police force, 1 law firm, 1 law industry. one government, it's one city region. Wales and Northern Ireland similarly are one city region. And this is nothing new, because I've got the original documents going back to the 1950s, where they were, this is a long game these guys are playing. And they've been planning this since the 1950s. I've got a very good book from 1963, and it's called, what's his name? It's Professor J.P. McIntosh. He was I'm not a Glaswegian, so I don't take responsibility. But Professor J.P. McIntosh, who was a Marxist, was already at that point, him and his gang were planning breaking up Great Britain. Okay, so this is not something new, it's happening. Just we've all been asleep at the wheel. Well, no longer that stops. So the Dignity Alliance, say the background to the Dignity Alliance is we are single issue, and you find everything we are doing, everything in this room is campaigning for, whatever, boils down to the end of the day, you've been forced to do something against your will, which is, as another talk could do, is the definition of slavery, slave trade, human trafficking or involuntary servitude, which are all criminal offences. But we are getting in there arguing law with them, and not understanding that the conduct of these lower courts, particularly the magistrates' courts, is absolutely demolishing the complete credibility of the entire justice system, top to bottom. I'm not saying all the judges at the top are bad, I'm not saying all are all good. But I would certainly say that the conduct of the magistrates and district judges is severely damaging, permanently, irreparably damaging the reputation of the entire judiciary. Because people like me, I don't care if it's that type of judge or that type of judge. I just see one type of judge badly misbehaving themselves, one class of judge badly misbehaving themselves. And as a result of that, I just see all judges. If the higher judges are so good, why they're not stepping in and stopping this? That's the way I look at it. Sitting on the sidelines is not a defence. So, you've heard this phrase before, somebody needs to do something. I'm sick of hearing that, right? Yes, somebody needs to do something, we are. Right? I think everyone in this room is involved in something, we are doing something. What's worrying me is there are more people out there. There should be a queue around the block to come and listen to this. But the majority of people out there watching Coronation Street, whatever, football, whatever nonsense is on, getting entertained by the box in the corner. So we are doing something. You're all aware it's 800 years since the signing of the real Magna Carta, original Magna Carta, where the king at the time had a knife held to his throat and he was forced to sign. Yeah, the people, the legal lawyers were saying that's terrible. It's not a real contract. Yes, it was. It was called trial by combat. We've still got it today. Okay, ask the Iraqis about trial by combat. Yeah, there's numerous countries around the world. You could East Timor. You know, you could ask a lot of countries about this. So it's. The lawyers will argue, and if you go into the official websites, they're, oh yeah, it's 800 years, and they spend fortunes and having these celebrations of Magna Carta, not one of them even understands what it is. Or if they do understand, they're lying about it, right? It's another jolly for them, you know. Try teaching kids, yeah, this is old stuff, you don't have to worry about it. Magna Carta, I don't care what the words are. If you actually read real books with Magna Carta, the words themselves are kind of irrelevant. What Magna Carta is an ideal. Right? It's a philosophy. We, the people, are the power. This goes back to earlier times, before Magna Carta, right? Before the Normans arrived, the people run the country. So Magna Carta was cementing the issue that, you know, we, the people, run the country. We are the power. Okay? So Parliament now is trying to, if you go on the website, they make these glorious claims that Parliament is sovereign. I'll be polite, backside, they're sovereign. Right? That's what's called a coup d'etat. Right, we are the power. We've got this bunch of reprobates down there with fingers in the till and also. I'm sure there's some good MPs amongst the horde of wastrels that's down there, and the fingers in the till, and the professional politicians, and the hordes of lawyers and accountants that are now polluting our Parliament. I'd like to see a Parliament filled with bin men and dinner ladies and, you know, people in this room, just normal people. We don't get that, we get the lawyers. So the lawyers are very good. Oh, the wording of it. I don't care about the wording of it, it's the ideal. The ideal is of freedom. Okay? That's what Magna Carta was supposed to give us. Lord Denning, Master of the Rolls, said the greatest constitutional document of all times, the foundation of freedom of the individual against the arbitrary authority of the despot, in relation to Magna Carta. Magna Carta was so good, the Americans based their Bill of Rights on it, based their constitution on it. The Australians, you know, most first world countries have based the foundation of the government system on Magna Carta. They've kind of forgotten that. They think Magna Carta is just a pretty thing to wheel out every now and again and charge money to look at. It's not. It's there, as you'll find out later on, it's to be defended with your life. Right, most of you might not have seen this. This was obviously myself and my good lady. And we contacted, just out of the blue, I just decided I'm going to contact a chap from the local paper, not for 1 minute thinking I'd run the story, that I'd proven that the council was multiple councils. And he said he can show some evidence, so strolled in carrying like 4 foot of paperwork. Well, but he came in, he looked at it, just a short few bits and pieces from it, and the evidence was so overwhelming, he ran the story. And the interesting thing was this happened because the council, the council, I'll do that from the council now, yeah? This outfit were trying to get my wife to disclose private information. We said, under what authority? That should always be your first response when somebody says you must do something. Under what authority? The law. Whose law? Yeah. So we went into court and with a friend of ours from DD Law in Liverpool, and we just asked a simple question: who's bringing the case? Because we found out the Wigan Council is not, as you'll find out shortly, Wigan Council, who are you represent, the case was brought by, it was listed outside in the court listings as Wigan Metropolitan Borough Council versus my good lady. All the paperwork that had been issued before was under Wigan Council, and the Royal Borough is actually Wigan Borough Council. So we were asking who's making these demands. So the chap said Wigan Council. We objected, at which point he turned around to the judge and said, can we change the name of the complainant? There's your evidence. Case withdrawn. Right. How many people give information or are demanded to give information? Because what you're doing is informing against yourself. Once you've done that, they say, well, he did it, or she did it. Right, so the report at the end of it, lovely young guy, I said to him, this story is of national importance. This will make or break your career. You can make a big career out of this, right? This story is about to break. And by the way, down in Parliament, we've got this from 2 MPs in Parliament. They're calling this the council tax scandal, because they're waiting for us to break. And this is going to be devastating when the sheer scale of the fraud and the fiddling and the corruption and the money laundering is taking place actually goes out in the public. So the chap who's the Chief of Finance Officer has said, strongly denied any impropriety or wrongdoing in the way the Austin's case was handled. Paul McKevitt, the Director of Resources and Contracts at Wigan Council, also Section 151 Officer, covered that. The Council has acted properly in all legal matters. Well, they hadn't. We've just spent a page and a half proving they hadn't done that. And in November 2014, this matter was heard in front of a district judge and in the Magistrates' Court regarding a request for a liability order to be granted for non-payment of council tax. Okay, right. Okay, that was in. It wasn't in front of a district judge. He was maybe at the hat of a district judge, but he was sitting in a private capacity. He's not there as a district judge. It's a private capacity. It's a private court. And also, I went into that court with 3 pieces of evidence proving 3 counts of serious fraud. And this Judge Jonathan Feinstein said, on what basis is are you challenging the complaint against you then? Nothing based on fraud is any standing, sir. At that point, it was desperate for me to go human rights because I was going to bring slavery. And I thought, no, I think three counts of serious fraud, sir, is enough to undermine any case. It's based on fraud. And the judge decided to issue a liability order anyway after calling me names and telling me which wonderful people the people in the council were. Yeah. Did any of you watch the programme last week about Wigan Council? Did anyone not see it? Right. Yes. And there's a lot of stuff happening with Wigan Council. They're trying to privatise it.